Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May peace be upon all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the International Conference on Interdisciplinary Research 2025 under the title of Reimagining Islamic Studies, Interconnecting Educations, Law, Economics, Humanities, and Social Science in the Virtual Era. So this conference is broadly organized by the Islamic State University Palangka Raya, Central Kalimantan, and we sincerely appreciate your participation and hereby extend our warmest welcome to all attendees that joining us here today, whether you are joining inside of Asmaul Husna Hall or even participating online. So furthermore, we would like to express our highest appreciation and extend a special welcome to our distinguished speakers, participants. Welcome to all of you for this morning. Okay, please give applause. I'm Nur Hidayah. I will lead as moderator. I'm very feel honored to serve you for this morning. Before I begin, let me introduce you a little bit short bio of all of our speakers. We have three speakers here. The first speaker is Professor Muhammad Ali. Professor Ali is an associate professor of Islamic studies at the University California, Riverside, USA. He is affiliated with the Middle East and Islamic Studies, ASEAN Studies, and the Global Studies program at those universities. And he holds an advanced degree from the University Hawaii at Manoa, the University Edinburgh from Scotlandia, the University of the Université de Grenoble, France, and with extensive expertise in Islamic studies, history, and the politics. So his research and teaching focus on Islam in Southeast Asia, modern Islamic thought, religious pluralism, public religious discourse, and Professor Ali also the author of several influential publications, including Islam and Colonialism and Islam and the West. So we also have our next speaker. The next speaker is Associate Professor Norazlina Abdul Wahab, Ph.D. She is from the Islamic Business School at the University Utara, Malaysia. Associate Professor Nazlina is an expert in Islamic finance, Sharia governance, Zakat Wakaf management. She holds a PhD in Islamic banking and finance, otherwise a master's in economic and a bachelor in Sharia and economic. Her research focuses on applying Sharia principle to contemporary financial system and exploring the socio-economic impact of Islamic institutions. So she has published so many extensive and frequent contributions, whether in the conference or workshop internationally as speaker or even as a presenter. So we are very honored to have her share her expertise today with us. Last but not least, we have Dr. Muhammad Safdar Bhatti. He is an experienced English language educator and researcher based at the Islamia University, Bahawalpur, Pakistan. So he has over 3 decades, we can imagine 3 decades, 3 decades of experience in teaching and training of IELTS, TOEFL, and other English language proficiency programs. His research and publications span applied linguistic, language teaching, and English as foreign language pedagogy. So Dr. Bhatti has an author of multiple international journal and book also. So Dr. Bhatti also supervised so many MA students, theses, and frequently served as a keynote speaker in so many international programs. So before we begin the presentation today, ladies and gentlemen, let me outline our session today. First, each presenter will present their material for approximately 15 minutes, and then we will following with the Q&A sessions with lasting about 45 minutes. And the last time, finally, the session will concluded. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please join me, Professor Muhammad Ali, to present his material about the Quranic studies and digital humanities for about 15 minutes, Professor. Okay, Professor, please go ahead. The screen is yours.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me well?
Yes, Professor, please.
Thank you so much. It is my pleasure to be part of this international conference on interdisciplinary research conducted by Pasca Sarjana UIN Palangka Raya today. I really wish that I could be joining this international conference in person in Palangka Raya. But, we are now international and we live in different areas, different countries, but it is a wonderful time to share some of the information and experiences from all of us. And I would like to also looking forward to listening to your perspective on the question of reimagining Islamic studies. The question of Islamic studies to be reimagined is every single of us. Is our task. It is our responsibility. Yeah, it is our shared responsibility to rethink and advance Islamic studies. It is not one individual job. It is our job, to rethink, reimagine our fields, education, economics, law, and all other humanities and social sciences. So this is our job. This is our responsibility. And at this time, I would like to just share, from the perspective of the Quran, even though, this is not one of the subfields in the conference, but I would like to discuss a little bit about Quranic studies. And before I talk about Quranic studies, one of the major point that I would like to make is that reimagining Islamic studies is a tajdid itself. It is a renewal. It is an act of renewal. It's a tajdid. So we are not satisfied with the with Islamic studies that we are now. So we need to always continuously revisit, rethink, and hopefully develop different theories and methodologies so that Islamic studies remain relevant to Muslims in Indonesia, but also in any part of the world. One of the key things about contemporary time is digitality. It's digital. So we are living in a digital, environment, right? In the digital age. And secondly is plurality. So we have more and more voices, more and more institutions. And I think this should be also taken into consideration when we reimagine Islamic studies. Yeah. So one is digitality, two is plurality, and three is interdisciplinarity. So even though we are trained in education, in laws, in economics, in history, in Quranic studies, all these disciplines, we have to think our disciplines in a broader and comparative perspective. So the three major things: digitality, plurality, and interdisciplinarity. So from there, I would like to a little bit touch on the Quran itself. Yeah. So digital humanities. This is one of the subfield today. It's an evolving field we call digital humanities. Basically, the humanities, history, philosophy, literature, language, all other fields of humanities are now digital. In the context of digital age. It's a new methodological horizon. So it's not traditional. It's not that we already have before, but it doesn't replace the traditional knowledges. Yeah, it doesn't replace its Quranic studies or tafsir. it doesn't replace tarbiyah. It doesn't replace sharia wal hukm, you know. It doesn't replace the iqtisadiyah, for example, economics. So it doesn't replace the traditional fields, but it extends. It extends, expands the classical Islamic studies or dirasah Islamiyah. Yeah, extending classical dirasah Islamiyah, not replacing it. Okay, so digital humanities is in a way is a new methodological horizon, and it also gives some new possibilities. Yeah, it's new possibilities because we have now the analysis of the text, the Quranic manuscript, for example, and how AI, artificial intelligence tools might be used in order to advance Quranic studies and tafsir, for example, and also economics, law, education, and other fields. So it is an interdisciplinary field that combines digital technologies with humanities. Yeah. Now we use open sources. We have open sources in the internet, but we can use also textual, textual. If you like text, then we study text. But then we also need to study the context of the text. Yeah, the digital context of the text, not only the context of the text, the Quran, the Hadith, the ulama scholarship, for example, in the classical medieval times, but we also need to understand our modern context. Yeah, so that's why we need to talk about network analysis. Yeah, the analysis of network, because now we are living in the network societies. Yeah, and also about material world, real world, and virtual culture. Yeah, social media, the internet, and everything else. That's also need to be incorporated in our reimagining of Islamic studies. We also do ethnographic research, but there's also virtual ethnography. You can do a Zoom to interview people, for example, right? So we don't have to be in person to see and interview people. We can use, video call, right? So, but it's still ethnographic. There's some new methodologies so that we can adjust our methods in doing our research. Yeah, but it's also collaborative. So interdisciplinary collaboration. And it is not finished. We cannot rely on the idea that Islamic studies is finished. Ya, tidak ada akhir dari Islamic studies. No end to Islamic studies. We need to always reimagine it. Yeah, it's a multidisciplinary and also multiple audiences. Even though our audience in education, our audience in Sharia, economics, business, history, Quranic studies, maybe that's our major audience. But now people from different fields would also listen and learn from our fields, multiple audiences. And also we need to think about sustainability, yeah, especially in the climate of, the environment. I think we also need to think about sustainability, not necessarily in the sense of the environment, but also in our fields. Yeah, digital Quran reshape. Now I move to the Quran itself. Because of the Quran being digitalized, it reshaped our ways of accessing the text, accessing the Quran, the Kitab Suci. Yeah, how we access the Quran. Before, we have to hold the Quran as a copy, like we bring the Quran like small or big, right, to the masjid, to schools and so on. But now, very rare that we find Muslims bringing the Quran, right? Like the Quran itself. They would use smartphone, yeah, phones or laptops or iPad or other things. So then they access the sacred text differently. And then how it's also reshape who interpret the Quran, yeah, who interpret the text. Not only the ulama, the mufassirun, yeah, the interpreters of the Quran, but also everyone now wanted to interpret the Quran. They want to understand the Quran. So you have the pluralization or diversification of religious authority. Who interpret the Quran becomes more diverse. Yeah. Second, or the next one is, what forms of knowledge are privileged? Is it the knowledge that is in the libraries or in the in our fields, or now the knowledge that is spread and distributed and viralized, viral in social media, right? Also, and also on YouTube and TikTok and so on and so forth. So what forms of knowledge are privileged in this digital era, right? Before, traditional knowledge has been privileged, in the pesantren or in the Ma'had Ali or in Al-Azhar or in different Islamic universities around the world. But now many forms of knowledge are produced by so many institutions, so many organizations, so many peoples. Many people claim they are the ulama. This is one of the challenges, right, in the time of digital era. How authority is validated? Who has power? Who has the claim to say that this is true knowledge? This is a true knowledge about Islam. This is a true knowledge about, this is a correct knowledge about Islam, and so on. How authority is validated? What kind of criteria we use in order to say that this is authoritative? Yeah. Then how youth, the young generation, right? Now more and more people from the younger generations engage themselves with religious discourses. Not only the elites, not only the old people, the adult, the sheikh, usually grand sheikh or ulama have tended to be old, but now younger generations have engaged themselves with discussing Islam, discussing religion, right? So all these transformations really, really matters. We have to rethink Islamic studies again and again. And of course, the Quran itself talks about knowledge. Yeah, وَقُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا. We pray that God will increase our knowledge, right? This is, in other words, we cannot be we cannot, just be content with the knowledge that we have now. Always zidni, yeah, increase knowledge. So reimagining Islamic studies basically is to apply this Quranic message about, we are asking Allah to increase our knowledge. Not only about that, there are so many things that we cannot learn, but we have to learn. Sanurihim ayatina fil afaqi wa fi anfusihim. So the signs of God are present not only in the universes, in the cosmos, the macrocosmos, but also in the microcosmos, in ourselves. Yeah, in ourselves. So we need to think our own reason, our own thinking. And then that's, I think, is a powerful, a profound message from the Quran about, seeing the signs of God everywhere. And because of the digital technology, now we have high resolution manuscript archives. So now you can access the Quran manuscript very clearly, sharp, yeah. Before maybe blurred, and even we cannot access the Quranic manuscript. Many Quranic manuscripts are present in different parts of the world. So now we can access it through the internet. And of course, variant analysis and scribal mapping. This is quite technical languages about the Quran, study. But I will explain a little bit, just a little bit here. So in UK, United Kingdom, where scholars, researchers have found what is considered as the Quranic manuscript, Birmingham Quran. Yeah, it has a high resolution, so you can access it free. Yeah, you can access the Birmingham Quran freely on the internet, on their website. Okay, but of course the Quran is preserved and will be preserved. Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra wa inna lahu lahafidhun. But the question is, preserving the Quran by memorizing it. That's as traditional way. But it's not only memorizing the Quran, we also need to preserve it in digital form, right? So many people, Muslims and non-Muslims, are playing a role in preserving the Quran in digital forms. Okay, and of course we need to think, reflect all the time. Afala yatadabbarunul Quran. So one of the examples from the Quranic studies is we try to analyze the variance, the variance, qira'ah, qira'ah. So different qira'ah. So there's no single qira'ah. There are 7 and more qira'ah. So the digital technology helps analyze the different qira'ah. Just an example, okay? Just an example. And also the scribal mapping. So this is a quite technical language, also scribal mapping. So you basically identify and analyze the text, the Quranic manuscript. Okay, and then I just give you these pictures so that you have an idea about how digital age shaped the Quranic manuscript. Yeah, at least this study demonstrate diversity in early transmission of the Quran. So we tend to see the Quran as single, unified, fixed text. But through the digital technology, we can understand that actually in the early time, the Quran itself as a text was quite fluid. Not all the same, not exactly the same as we know the Quran now. Okay, there's some fluidity, there's some variation in the early time of the Quran canonization. Okay, this is just an example. Fataba alayhi rabbu. So we just see now fataba alayhi. But then there are variants that add the extra word rabbu. So, but this doesn't change the meaning. But at least there's some variation. There's some new, words and so on. You understand this by accessing the technology now. This is another one. Yeah. So, the Quran that we have now, innama ya'muru masajidallahi man amana, but you have another variant, alladhina amanu. So there are two different variants, two different qira'ah that you can find, in the internet through the technology. Okay. So this is a different repositories, manuscript of the Quran. Including the Birmingham Quran that I mentioned earlier. So you can access the Quran, Birmingham Quran freely. Yeah. And of course, Harvard, Princeton, Yale in America, where I live, in the United States of America, they have also collections of the Quran. Yeah. So the Quran is not simply in Yemen or in Egypt or in Saudi Arabia, but everywhere. What we call as the Western countries, they have digital forms and manuscripts, not only digitalized forms, but also the manuscript of the Quran itself. So database, if you like to study the Quran manuscript, you have many databases. This is just slide because I have only maybe a few minutes left, but I just want to give you an idea that some databases, so you can access from Germany, from Great Britain, from Kuwait, from United States of America, from France, and others as well. So you have different Quranic texts, with different pieces of the Quran. Okay, but of course, many Muslims have been responding to this new development, right? Muslims have been raising some concerns about historical critical method of the Quran, because we already recognize the ulum al-Quran, the traditional Quranic studies, that I learned and many people learn, but now we have critical study of the Quran, right? How we can synthesize traditional and critical historical method of the Quranic manuscript. So that's the challenge. Yeah, that's the challenge. The traditionalism and modern historical and critical method to the Quran. Okay, is it also undermining revelation, wahyu? We believe that wahyu revelation is true, but how about making it as a text within the multi-textual context? Yeah, in other words, not simply in Arabic context, but is Syriac, Aramaic, late antiquity time. So how we posit the Quran within a wider context. Yeah, so that's why some Muslims have concern about that. But we should not just reject those historical critical method. We need to. That's why reimagining Islamic studies is how this new development of the digital age can make us think and rethink and develop Quranic studies. apart from the Quran, there is tafsir, commentaries, right? Now we can use different tafsir. Before we have to go to the shelf, where we have to go to the libraries to, Ibn Kathir, Said Qutub, Al-Manar, we have to open our the pages and so on. Now you can just search one verse, yeah, and using different digital platforms, and then you will have all the tafsirs about one verse. So you can compare. Yeah, you can compare. It's cross-commentary comparison. It's very easy now to use the technology in order to have a wider perspective about the Quran. Let's say verses about education, about certain laws, about economic, and then you can just search, and then you will find more than 10 tafsir, yeah, that you can learn from, and then you can compare which one is more better for you or more relevant to your understanding, and so on and so forth, right? So anyway, this is just one of the example of how digital age sharpen our Quranic studies. Okay, and of course, we still need to, use evidence. In our post-truth era, people come with information. Sometimes this information is hoax, right? Not true. We have to use our mind, our critical thinking. We have to find burhan. Bring your proof, burhan. So in other words, evidence. And that's a challenge now in the digital era, right? How we can check and recheck the information that comes to us. Yeah, so that's one of the challenges, but we have to stay firm to the truth. Okay. Maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes. Okay, I have a slide here. If you're interested in this, I can share. So I have many more slides, but I just want to, again, very quickly, just go over some of the slides. Yeah. So if you're interested in the tafsir, in the Quranic interpretation of certain verses related to the education, law, economics, politics, history, and so on and so forth, you can try this tanzil.net, altafsir.com, quranNC.com, quran.com, and so on and so forth. All right. So you can see the tafsir in digital forms very easily. Okay. And of course, because of that, Quranic interpretation are becoming more and more diverse. Yeah. More and more diverse. Diversity of interpretation. There is no one single interpretation of a verse of the Quran now. And of course, because of the concept of isnad in Islamic studies, and how about digital isnad? Yeah, network analysis of exegetical tradition. And this is again quite specific. I wish that we have more time to do some workshop about digital isnad. Okay, how about the implication for education? Yeah, in other words, we need to use interactive tool for teaching now for the teachers. Interactive tools for teaching, and then we also need to visualize the chronology of certain things like Asbab Nuzul, the history of the Quran, and so on and so forth. And we also need to visualize the themes. So more and more visual. Yeah. And of course, we hope in our education that students do their research. Student-driven digital research. Yeah. Student-driven digital research. This is one of the things that we can do in the field of education. Okay. And some of the challenges because of the digital technology. How about authenticity? Which information is true? Yeah, which authority that we can rely on and trust? And of course, the AI, artificial intelligence, is based on algorithm. Yeah, so the more people post online, then the more information that we get about. So it's not. We have to adjust. We have to we have to verify. Yeah, in the real world, we have to verify the information that we receive from artificial intelligence in, for example, in the libraries, talking to people, seeing people, yeah, living in the community. So we cannot just rely on the visual, artificial world. We have to be also real. We have to also live in the real life. Lastly, ethical, digital adab, digital ethics. This is very important for our field in Islamic studies. and this is our responsibility. Okay, and of course, when we talk about Quranic artificial intelligence, it's not a mufassir. AI is not a mufassir. It's just to assist us, but not mufassir. Yeah, and it needs also transparency, and then also we have to bring our own objective as humans, spiritual humanity, because AI does not recognize humanity, does not recognize spirituality, does not recognize critical thinking of humans. Yeah, and there are so many risks in digital times, yeah, in digital Quranic culture. This is the list of the risk that we need to also respond to. But at the same time, besides the risk, we also have some opportunities. Yeah. Now knowledge becomes more democratization, more democratized. Yeah. Democratization of knowledge. Now we have more voices, more women, more female voices, more minority voices in the Islamic studies. Not only the mainstream male elite, but many more female minority voices are coming to the fore. It's an opportunities, yeah. And lastly, interfaith. More and more non-Muslim are engaging in Quranic studies, and also more people from different cultures, from different countries, from different languages are participating in our fields, including Quranic studies, interfaith and ethical engagement. That's one of the opportunities in the time today. Okay. To conclude, digital humanities is our knowledge, our disciplines are now becoming digitalized, but these digital humanities have reshaped Quranic studies. Not only Quranic studies, education, laws, economics, other humanities, social sciences. That's number one. Number two, it requires balance. Yeah, we need to also apply moderation, balance between the classical knowledge and digital world. Yeah, traditional knowledge and modern contemporary technology. How we can integrate, make it a balance, so we are not trapped into the digitalization, but then we forget and we ignore and abandon our turos, our heritage, Islamic knowledge heritage, including the Quran, the tafsir, and also the interpretations of Islamic texts in generally. Lastly, ethics, the importance of ethics. This is one that we need to always remind ourselves when we are reimagining Islamic studies. Is it ethical or not ethical? Right? We always have to think about that, because digital sphere is liminal. It's between tradition and modern, between materiality and spiritual, but it's liminal. It requires our ethical innovation. We always think about whether it is good, appropriate, relevant, manfaah, to our benefit or to our own risk. So we have to think about ethics. And it is also very important to merge the tradition of Islamic studies and technology with ihsan. Ihsan is we do things correctly, but properly as well as ethically, as if like God is always watching us. We do things, God is always watching us. Thank you so much for listening. I'm sorry that if I run out a little bit more time. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Okay, thank you. That was a very detailed and insightful overview. He mentioned so many resources that's really important, such as like the Goethe Press from the Germany. Everyone can access it for free. Please, just doing it now. Now we will going to the second presenter, to Associate Professor Norazlina Abdul Wahab, Ph.D. Please go ahead, Professor.
Right. Can you hear me?
Yes, Professor, please.
Can you also see the screen that I'm sharing?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Professor Dr. Ahmad Dukai, the Rector of State Islamic University Palangka Raya, represented by the Vice Rector, Dr. Zaini Miftah, Chairman of the ICIR, other top management of State Islamic University Palangka Raya, esteemed scholars, fellow academics, respected postgraduate students, ladies and gentlemen, and not to forget Madam Chairperson today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It's a great honor for me to join this international conference on interdisciplinary research 2025. So I would like to thank the organizer for this opportunity for me to share Malaysia's experience, particularly Lembaga Zakat Negeri Kedah where I'm staying in leveraging zakat and corporate collaboration as instruments for financial inclusion and also Asnaf empowerment. So the title of my keynote speech today is Zakat and Financial Inclusion, Collaborative Pathways toward Empowering the Asnaf Community, looking at how zakat and Asnaf can be included in empowering their the committee of Asnaf itself. Right. Sorry. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, both Malaysia and Indonesia have long histories of Islamic philanthropy and innovation in social finance. Our shared vision to use faith-based financial mechanisms to uplift society and to continue to inspire regional collaboration and academic exploration. So in recent decades, the global conversation on financial inclusion has evolved beyond mere access to banking services. It now encompasses the ability of individuals and communities, especially the poor and also the marginalized people, to participate meaningfully in the economic system. The World Bank in 2025 had defined financial inclusion as access to useful and affordable financial products that meet the people's needs. So financial inclusion aims to ensure that formal financial services are accessible to all segments of society rather than focusing solely on those at the top of the economic pyramid. The components of financial inclusion, which include access to financing, payment services, financial support mechanisms, and financial literacy, and its primary target is the segment of society that is left behind, which is the unserved and also the underserved groups of the people, to enable them to obtain appropriate financial services. Yet, from an Islamic economics perspective, inclusion is not only about economic participation, but it's also about human dignity, karama insaniah, and also the preservation of wealth or hifzul mal. And in many Muslim majority societies, millions of people remain financially excluded despite the rapid expansion of Islamic finance. So this is where Islamic social finance instruments, particularly zakat, wakaf, and sadaqah, play a very transformative role. Even the Islamic Development Bank and also UNDP have repeatedly highlighted that Islamic social finance could help to close the financing gap for the Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs. And in Malaysia, zakat has evolved from a purely charitable institutions to an integrated development mechanism, complementing the national agenda on poverty eradication, entrepreneurship, and also financial inclusion. Now, let's take a look at some of the figures on financial inclusion level in Malaysia as compared to the global figure. This slide collectively illustrates that while Malaysia has made significant progress in advancing financial inclusion, important gaps remain that need strategic attention. The comparison of financial behavior, knowledge, attitude, and literacy scores show that Malaysians generally demonstrate strong financial behavior, outperforming both global and also OECD averages, reflecting positive habits such as savings regularly, managing expenses, and being disciplined in financial decisions. But Malaysians score noticeably lower in financial knowledge, indicating there is a limited understanding of fundamental financial concepts, investment principles, and also management. So from a financial inclusion perspective, this slide also highlights that access alone is not sufficient. So Malaysians, maybe as well as Indonesia, we also need stronger financial capability to fully benefit from accessible financial services, where the data supports that Bank Negara Malaysia's emphasis on improving financial literacy, promoting innovative channels and products, and strengthening institutional support from the corporate institutions as well for the underserved segments. So it underscores the importance of initiatives such as Islamic financial literacy programs, Zakat and corporate collaborations, the micro takaful outreach, and targeted engagement for rural and also B40 communities. Now, looking at this financial inclusion framework of Malaysia, it outlines a holistic strategy to enhance financial inclusion nationwide. At the top, the vision emphasizes building an inclusive financial system that serves all segments of society, especially the underserved people, by ensuring the access to quality, to affordable, and also essential financial services. So the framework highlights 4 desired outcomes, which is the convenient accessibility, high take-up, responsible usage, and also high satisfaction. And these outcomes are supported by 4 broad strategies, which is innovative channels, innovative products and services, effective financial institutions and infrastructure, and a well-informed and responsible underserved community, which I think the Asnaf community is also included in. And this diagram also reflects that Malaysia's comprehensive approach to strengthen the financial inclusion as outlined by Bank Negara Malaysia emphasize that inclusive finance is a national priority to ensure equitable access to finance services for all, particularly the underserved, such as rural communities, the low-income households, and micro-entrepreneurs. As a recent update, based on the previous or the recent 2026 budget in Malaysia, the Malaysian government under our Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim have allocated a dedicated budget called ITECA 2025, which is a social finance initiative by the government to empower the micro entrepreneur like B40 and Asnaf to be allocated to these underserved people. And not only that, only 15 million is allocated for this entrepreneur, for the B40 in Asnaf. The government is also allocating around 5 million grant that is intended to subsidize micro entrepreneur annual takaful contributions, which aims to empower the Asnaf community in Malaysia. Okay, so how can Zakat be empowered within the financial inclusion framework? This is the things that I'm researching on. So the economics and spiritual dimensions of Zakat, as it's at its core, Zakat is actually an ibadah maliyah, an act of worship through wealth, where its socio-economic implications are very profound. The Quran from Surah At-Tawbah, for instance, has clearly identified the 8 categories of recipients, with the asnaf of fakir and miskin at the forefront of the recipients itself. So in modern times, Zakat can serve as a financial inclusion tool by providing the seed capital to the unbanked people, to facilitate the financial literacy and also entrepreneurship to the unbanked people, encouraging savings and investment behavior which align with the Sharia principles, and bridging the gap between the informal and also formal financial sectors. And in Malaysia, the Zakat institutions such as Lembaga Zakat Negeri Kedah, as well as other Zakat institutions across the states in Malaysia, have redefined their strategies from consumption-based assistance to empowerment and oriented programs which I'm going to share a little bit later. And this transformation reflects a broader shift in Islamic social finance from giving to enabling and from charity to capacity building. So how zakat can contribute to financial inclusion? Beyond entrepreneurship, zakat can help to deepen financial inclusion more broadly by bringing the unbanked into the formal systems. Because zakat payments and disbursements are often channeled through formal institutions, individuals begin to interact with formal financial systems such as bank accounts, mobile wallets, and etc. And this can perform for the engagement with the financial services. Second, the trust and legitimacy of zakat institutions as an entry point, where many people trust zakat agencies more than commercial banks, especially in rural or vulnerable communities, and zakat institutions can act as intermediaries that can help to ease people into formal financial system. The third ways of how zakat contribute to financial inclusions is by using the digital platforms and also fintech innovations. Leveraging digitalization such as mobile apps, e-wallets, the digital transfers in zakat collection and also distribution to scale research and reduce friction not only increases efficiency, but also helps recipients become comfortable with digital financial tools. And by combining zakat with other philanthropic instruments such as wakaf, Islamic microfinance, sukuk, one can create layered financial solutions. For instance, where a zakat-funded grant plus an Islamic microfinance loan can support growth with wakaf or sukuk use in infrastructure support. And last but not least, the institutional capacity and governance improvements, where for inclusion to scale, zakat institutions need strong governance, transparency, reporting, accountability, and technology system to build trust, to attract more contributors and manage disbursement effectively. So what is the role of collaboration in strengthening the financial inclusion? While zakat institutions provide funds and outreach, corporate partners can bring technology, they can also bring expertise and also market linkages. So the synergy between these two different sectors can create what I call as collaborative pathways to financial inclusion. So this collaboration resonates with Malaysia's value-based intermediation initiative introduced by Bank Negara Malaysia, encourages financial institutions to align their business operations with the social impact objectives and not only focusing on the profit-oriented businesses. And in this ecosystem, the private sector no longer views corporate social responsibility as a side activity, but also as an integrated strategy that advances both business sustainability and also social justice. Now, let me share with you some of the collaborative models taken by Lembaga Zakat Negeri Kedah in Malaysia with some of the corporate institutions. So let me begin with the first example of the collaboration. A big project jointly organized by Lembaga Zakat Negeri Kedah with other corporate institutions, which is Association of Islamic Banking and Financial Institutions in Malaysia, IBIM, the INSEF University, and also Malaysia International Islamic Financial Center, which aims to enhance the socio-economic well-being of the Asnaf community, particularly in Kedah, including or particularly the farmers, okay, through the development of an integrated paddy farming ecosystem, which include a paddy processing facility to reduce the dependence on the middlemen and also ensuring the national food security. Because paddy is our staple food in Malaysia as well as in Kedah. So this is quite a very important project undertaken by Lembaga Zakat Negeri Kedah. And this initiative also aims to strengthen the Asnaf community and reduce the long-term effects of the poverty itself. So Lembaga Zakat Negeri Kedah, they have established a food distribution center that aids around 585 mosques in Kedah with an annual budget of 13.97 million ringgit Malaysia, where the agency is exploring the possibility of managing rice distribution through Asnaf, which could lead to significant cost savings and also strengthen the community bonds through the economic model that they call as from Asnaf to Asnaf. And to enhance the food security and complete the agricultural cycle, SRNK is also planning to expand the model or the project by acquiring and subsequently operating a rice mill. So collaborating with Islamic banks under the IBIM, Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad, for instance, and of course other Islamic banks in the country, SZNK or the Zakat Negeri Kedah aims to raise around 10 ringgit Malaysia million through the My Wakaf platform to finance the mill. And Alhamdulillah, this project has shown successful outcome where some of the Asnaf involved in this project has shown increase in their income. Plus. Now, the second model, which is called Micro Takaful for Asnaf, 4 corners of relationship, highlights the integration of 4 institutions, namely Lembaga Zakat Negeri Kedah itself, with Pusat Pungutan Zakat Wilayah Persekutuan, PNB or Pemodalan Nasional Berhad, and also Takaful Ikhlas. So aims to provide takaful protections to selected asnafs. This collaborative model, which has been in operation since last year, 2024, utilizes the concept of wakalah zakat, where PNB has paid their zakat to Pusat Pengutan Zakat Wilayah Persekutuan, and using the wakalah system, Pusat Pengutan Zakat Wilayah Persekutuan gives the wakalah to other zakat institutions in other states in Malaysia to distribute this an amount of the zakat from Pemodalan Malaysia Berhad. So that amount of zakat then distributed to the rest of the zakat institutions in all states in Malaysia, which involve 150 participants in Kedah solely. So among other programs carried out in this model is briefing on takaful, and the product which was not only and the briefing was not only given to the participants or the asnaf itself, but also to the family members of the or the heirs of the asnaf themselves. So this remarks part of the initiative to enhance financial knowledge among the asnaf and also the family members in order to enhance or to increase the financial inclusion objective of the country. And Alhamdulillah, to date, around 10 participants have successfully claimed the benefits out of this micro takaful product subscribe. And the next model is called microcredit financing grant, part of the ITCAT program granted by the government. Collaborative initiative between Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad with Lembaga Zakat Negeri Kedah started in 2023, which involved 13 participants, which particularly aim to provide opportunities for the asnaf to own their own home, okay, with a low monthly payment rate. So Lembaga Zakat Negeri Kedah will identify eligible asnaf individuals to participate in this program, and then they appoint qualified and capable contractors to build and complete the asnaf residential houses to all the selected asnafs. Last but not least, the fourth model is the Eco-Tourism ITCAT Entrepreneur Transformation Program, a collaborative initiative between Lembaga Zakat Negeri Kedah and also Public Islamic Bank Berhad, which aim to help the entrepreneurs with the latest business plan with injection of funds in the form of grants of 5,000 ringgit Malaysia each. And in this model or in this project, 30 participants took part in the initiative, where a number of workshops and also knowledge transfers have been initiated by Lembaga Zakat Negeri Kedah in ensuring that all participants are equipped with not only business plan, but also marketing, digital financial knowledge to ensure that the business is sustainable. Now, from these experiences of the collaborative model between Zakat and also corporate institutions, several lessons emerge. One is on the shared vision and mutual accountability. Successful partnerships thrive when both Zakat institutions and corporate bodies align their goals and whole governance standards. Second, integration of data and technology. I think as Prof. Muhammad Ali has highlighted just now, the importance of digital nowadays. This integration of data and technology is also very important in the Asnaf community as well. So digital Zakat platforms and corporate database enable accurate Asnaf profiling and transparent disbursement tracking. And the measurement of social impact, where beyond counting beneficiaries, institutions must also evaluate the outcomes in terms of their income, in terms of the growth, in terms of the business continuity, and also self-sufficiency. But they are not, they shouldn't only looking into the material as impact of the project, but also to look at it into its social impact, which we call as ROI, or social return on investment. And last but not least, the human-centric approach, where empowerment programs must maintain compassion, empathy, and respect for recipients' dignity. Now, as a policy implications and regional collaboration, as we reflect on these experiences, it becomes clear that the future of Islamic social finance lies in collaboration and also integration. We cannot be in our own ways. We cannot do everything on our own ways. So Zakat institutions need to have collaboration with others. So it becomes clear that the future of Islamic social finance lies in collaboration and integration, where policymakers should consider the strategies of incentivizing corporate participation in Zakat initiatives through fiscal benefits or ESG recognition, or create regulatory frameworks that encourage partnerships between Islamic banks, Zakat boards, and also microfinance institutions. Or they also may develop a Zakat corporate collaboration index to measure the inclusivity and also social outcome, and promote knowledge exchange between different countries such as Malaysia and Indonesia, maybe through joint training, through joint research, and also capacity building programs. And by fostering the cross-border collaboration, maybe you can develop regional benchmark for excellence in Zakat management and also financial inclusion. So as a future vision, the paradigm of Zakat distribution must continue shifting from short-term relief to long-term empowerment, where I highlight here a few key trends that will shape the future. One is on the digital transformation, the fintech innovations, e-wallets, and blockchains that can improve the Zakat transparency and trust. The integrated social finance model, the convergence of Zakat, Wakaf, microfinance, and Takaful, which can address the multidimensional poverty, sustainability, and ESG, where Islamic social finance should position itself within the global discourse on sustainability. Zakat aligns naturally with the principles of ESG investing. And in this regard, we may draw inspirations from Indonesia's dynamic Zakat ecosystem, where I think Badan Amal Zakat Indonesia, Basnas, also actively collaborates with government agencies and NGOs to deliver the development impact. So together, Malaysia and also Indonesia can champion a regional model of Islamic social finance that integrates the faith, the finance, and also sustainability. So as a closing message, ladies and gentlemen, the story of Zakat is a story of hope and also empowerment. It transforms compassion into action, faith into justice, and wealth into well-being. When zakat is combined with corporate innovation and academic insight, it becomes a very powerful instrument for inclusive growth, where let us remember the Quranic verse from Surah At-Tawbah, verse 103, take from their wealth a charity by which you provide them and cause them increase. So this verse reminds us that giving purifies us not only the wealth of the givers, but also the heart of the society itself. So in closing, I invite all of us here in this esteemed conference, the policymakers, the academics, and everyone, including the students, to continue to explore collaborative pathways where faith-based finance can be advanced, the shared goal of financial inclusion and human dignity. May our collaborative efforts bring blessings to our nations, and may this conference, ICIR, strengthen the spirit of knowledge, partnership, and compassion that defines our region. With that, I end my presentation. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Wow, that was a well-structured and informative presentation, Professor. Thank you. Now we turn to Dr. Muhammad Safdar Bhatti with his presentations titled Reimagining Islamic Pedagogy in the Digital Age, Opportunity and Challenges. Dr. Bhatti, okay, time is yours.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
No, we can't see it now. Okay.
Am I audible?
Yeah. Could you
And what
make
about my
it
screen? Is it
bigger,
visible to
Professor?
you?
Yeah.
Is my screen visible to you?
Yeah, we can see your presentation, but still very small. Can you make it a little bit bigger?
Okay, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to everyone. This is Dr. Muhammad Safdar Bhatti from the Islamic University of Bahawalpur, Pakistan. First of all, I would like to thank Professor Dr. Ahmed Dekhair, Director of the University, and Professor Zaini Miftah for having me here at this forum to give a keynote speech. And the topic of my today's talk is Reimagining Islamic Pedagogy in the Digital Age, Opportunities and Challenges, and that is a brief sketch of my talk. Dear all, education is a fundamental right, and 21st century has seen rapid advancements in various fields, pressing educational institutions to adapt. Technology has gained popularity in training, blending online and face-to-face methods to facilitate quicker upskilling. In Islamic education, technology integration can enhance access and quality through tools like e-learning and social media. Nonetheless, challenges remain, including infrastructure inequality, limited digital literacy, and risk to spiritual values. Integrating technology into the in-person classrooms is ideal for teaching and learning. The COVID-19 pandemic forced teachers to adapt to online technologies, emphasizing the importance of aligning technology with learning goals. This combination of traditional and digital methods enhances integration and effective, reinforcing that while learning fundamentals remain constant, technology should enhance rather than confuse the educational experience. Dear all, the term education originates from the Greek word pedagogy, meaning guidance for the children. Education aims to develop the physical, spiritual, intellectual, and aesthetic and social aspects of individuals towards a unified goal. Islamic education is particularly valued for its basis in the Quran and Hadith, yet it faces significant practical challenges. The integration of technology in education has become essential. Islamic education aims to transform personal behavior through Islamic values, impacting both individual and social interactions. It encourages and development of human potential in alignment with societal norms and ethical standards, ultimately fostering nobility, morality, and ethical conduct as well. Central to this education are the teachings found in the Holy Quran and Hadith, which guide emotional growth and positive value cultivation. Moreover, Islamic education promotes rational thinking and behavior consistent with Islamic principles, urging a logical comprehension of life to attain desirable life goals. What is the impact of technology? Dear all, in the digital era, technological advancement have led to sophisticated developments in society, driven by a demand for convenience and practicality. Web-based services and social networking sites encourage users to share personal information, facilitating connections among individuals. Platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, Instagram, and TikTok exemplify the role of digital technology in enabling the seamless information exchange regardless of the distance as well. What is the role of Islamic education? Dear all, Islamic education is essential for shaping character and understanding Islamic teachings among the youth. It aims to develop virtues, ethics, and accountability by guiding young individuals towards a lifestyle aligned with the Islamic values. The rise of individual technology has transformed Islamic education by increasing access to a wide array of knowledge through the internet, social media, and online platforms, enabling easy and flexible learning from various scholars globally. This evolution enhances the ability of younger generation to comprehensively understand Islamic principles beyond traditional constraints as well. The first point is the character building. Dear all, the relationship between educators and learners is crucial in Islamic education, significantly impacting the development of Islamic character and values. The rise of online learning in the digital era poses challenges by limiting in-person interactions as well. This study aims to identify both challenges and opportunities for Islamic education, focusing on maintaining relevance in technological advancements. It explores innovative, interactive learning approaches that resonate with younger learners, enhancing the quality of Islamic education as well. Here, I would like to shed light on the impact of technology. Basically, Islamic education is evolving to meet modern needs, while technology is playing a crucial role in this transformation. Digital content, including digital tools and pedagogical approaches, offers personalized learning experiences through Islamic educational applications. This technology also saves time and effort by automating tasks and monitoring students' performance. The integration of technology in religious studies, such as simulation and gamification, increases student engagement and the understanding as well. Teachers play a crucial role in technology integration in learning, adopting and combining digital tools to enhance teaching methods. This requires training, institution support, and digital classroom management to prevent misuse and improve teachers' digital skills as well. The objectives of my study were to explore students' perceptions of their learning experiences and to identify the benefits and challenges faced by students in Islamic learning environments, to assess the impact of technology integration on students' engagement and the motivation as well. And my research questions were how to explore students' perceptions of their learning experiences and how to identify the benefits and challenges faced by students in Islamic learning environments, and how to assess the impact of technology integration on students' engagement and the motivation as well. If we talk about the significance of the study, this study will determine best practices of a conducive technological learning environment to have effective student interest and educational achievement. This study will also be beneficial both for the teachers, students, and Islamic institutions, practically and theoretically. Dear all, teaching is a demanding profession which requires a high level of commitment, training, professionalism, and dedication. Interaction with technology in a classroom environment may become an added challenge sometimes, especially Islamic education, which not only enhances content but also impacts students' religious identity. It should not reduce students' love for their religion, but strengthen their understanding of Islam. Challenges include lack of teacher training, inadequate technological infrastructure, and government support. Adopting best practices from developed countries can help to overcome these obstacles. There are some attributes to the technology integration. The integration of technology in Islamic education is crucial due to the rapid development of ICT. Technology offers a potential for improving learning quality, expanding accessibility, and creating interactive learning models as well. Actually, I'm just going to shorten that because of this lack of time. So these are some benefits of technological learning. Learners get a personal experience. It increases engagement. It improves experiences. Learners can reply and do assessments fast. Learners can assess content anytime, anywhere. It is easier for the teachers to see how learners are doing. These are some challenges of technology integration. First one is the cost. Second was the digital divide. Third one is the integration with Islamic values. Fourth one is the digital literacy. And fifth one is the maintaining authenticity. And these are some innovative approaches: blended learning models, digital Quranic learning tools, virtual reality, and gamification, and blockchain. These are some best practices: teacher training, curating halal content, monitoring and filtering, balancing tradition and the technology as well. 200 students and 50 teachers from the Islamic University of Bahawalpur, the Faculty of Islamic Learning, participated in this study. It was a descriptive type of research based on quantitative approach, and survey method was used. A questionnaire for the students, a separate question for the teachers were used as a tool to collect the data from the respondents. And that is the data analysis of my questionnaire. Take interest, 98% agreed. Participation, 100% agreed. Confident, 80% agreed. Motivation, 99% agreed. And impact, 98% agreed. And that is the graphic description of my talk. Dear all, I would like to now brief you about the challenges and opportunities. Despite challenges like limited technology access and concerns over online Islamic content reliability, the digital age offers substantial opportunities for enhancing Islamic education among the youth. Technology provides broader access to diverse knowledge resources, including classical text and the lectures, promoting active learning and critical analysis. Employing interactive media, gamification, and audiovisual tools align education methods with the preferences of the digital generation, fostering engagement and innovation in teaching approaches as well. So these are some digital facilities. The provision of digital facilities and technology access poses significant challenges for the Islamic education institutions, especially in the rural areas with limited infrastructures as well. And the cultural conflict. Cultural resistance in Islamic education arises from concerns that digital technology undermines traditional face-to-face learning and religious values. Retaining teaching quality on digital platforms, that is a contest. Ensuring the quality of Islamic content on digital platforms presents a significant challenge due to the concerns regarding the validity of information available online. Discovering opportunities in Islamic education in digital age. Expansion of Islamic learning apps. Basically, the increasing availability of Islamic education apps offers youth valuable self-learning tools featuring prayer schedules, tajweed lessons, and Quran memorization exercises as well. Digital-based curriculum improvement. The development of a digital curriculum for Islamic education requires integration of technology into learning materials to enhance the relevance and the comprehension for younger learners as well. Preparation of educators to enrich technological literacy.
Dr. Bhatti, 3 minutes.
Operating with developers to make learning and useful Islamic education applications. That was another challenge. And now I would like to move towards my findings and the conclusions. Dear all, technology is transforming education by combining the best of traditional and digital approach by offering personalized learning experiences, enhancing access to resources, and fostering collaboration. This hybrid model is helping to bridge the gap between different educational environments as well. So Islamic education has integrated technology to enhance learning practices. Teachers use technology to support student involvement and understanding. design lessons effectively, and ensure critical communication. Social media and AI applications facilitate the interaction as well. So before leaving, I would like to give you some suggestions and a recommendation. It is helpful sport. There should be some helpful technical sport, promote interaction with the instructors and the students, and continuing education for teachers. So, I would like to thank my all these friends for having me at this forum, and these are my some suggestions to look up that, and we have to implement in our learning methods as well. And these were some references from which I got the help. Thanks for lending me your ears, and any question, please. That's all from my side.
Thank you so much. That was very well prepared presentation, huh? And we are very glad to receive it. Now we will need process to the question and answer sessions. We will choose 3 people from the on-site participant, but if possible, we will choose from the Zoom too, but we will ultimately coming here first. If you have a question, please raise your hand. Don't forget to post your name, your affiliations. If you're a student, please state also your department. Please raise your hand. Okay, there is anyone trying to ask a question? Okay, over there, please. Is there any microphone for the attendance? Oh, okay. Please state which presentator.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you for the opportunities. I'm Kusina Octaviani. I come from West Kota Waringin Regency. I'm a student of postgraduate State Islamic University of Palangka Raya. I'm interested all of study, but I'm curious and very interested the study of Mr. Muhammad Ali, the presenter of California, and I have a question for you, sir. If the digital realm is a liminal space, could the future of Quranic engagement resemble a hybrid spirituality, where interpretation occurs through a synergy of human intuition, classical scholarship, and machine intelligence? And once again, let me look at slides again and take notes on the application you mentioned earlier that can be accessed for free. It's clear? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Now we move to Associate Professor Dr. Norazlina. Is there any question for her? Anybody want to raise your hand over here? Maybe in the middle or at the back from the mat? Or for Dr. Bhatti, if you have a question, please raise your hand. Okay. Okay, can we go to Professor Muhammad Ali first to answering the question, Prof?
Thank you so much for the questions. Can you hear me well?
Yes, Professor, please.
Thank you. So the question was, since the digital age is a liminal space, yeah, what are some of the implications of the Quranic interpretations? Yeah, is it hybrid? Yeah, you talk about hybrid spirituality, right? That's a very good questions. That's a very good questions. I think you can write a dissertation or a journal article or book about this question, because thinking about the digital age and interpretations, they are very multiple dimensions. Yeah, so you can discuss about hybrid spirituality, that people use the Quran and the digital era, use the digital Quran, and then they understand the text from the internet. Yeah, even they memorize the Quran using the internet, and then they read the tafsir, the commentary, using the search engines, right? The AI tools, for example, all these things. But I think even though we use digital sources and digital technology and tools, I would not say that the spirituality is lacking or there is a weak, spirituality. Um, the idea of hybrid spirituality is that spirituality comes from both material and physical sources, but also from virtual and in virtual sources. But spirituality is humans. Yeah, I don't think artificial intelligence replaces human spirituality, because human spirituality is something that artificial intelligence cannot replace. So there are different things that artificial intelligence would not replace. Yeah, human imagination, critical thinking, spirituality, emotions. Yeah, so artificial intelligence would not replace critical thinking. Artificial intelligence would not replace our spirituality. Yeah, so spirituality remains in the self of the people, human beings. And when you say hybrid spirituality, it really depends on what you mean by that. But I still see there are some implications of digitalization of the Quranic studies. One is ambiguity. There is a book you can read, The Culture of Ambiguity. Yeah, The Culture of Ambiguity. That book addresses the question of pre-modern time where Muslim scholars, the ulama in fiqh and also fiqh in the Quran, in other knowledges, would not necessarily approaching the questions of halal and haram in a rigid way. It's not necessarily either or, like halal or haram. They are gray areas. There are variation. There are multiple interpretations. Yeah, and after that, ulama would say, biswab. Allah a'lamu biswab. Right? God knows best. God knows the truth. Right? In other words, there is intellectual humility. Yeah, so because of the variation and interpretations, diversity of interpretations, that we as human beings become humbled. Yeah, humbled. So humbleness. So because there are so many things, we cannot say, for example, are all non-Muslims kafir, for example, right? You have different interpretation about chapter Quran, chapter 2, verse 62, for example. That there are different interpretations. So using the digital sources, you will find different interpretations. So ambiguity. So we don't have to come up with very or either or answers to the question. We can have ambiguous answer to the question. Okay. Next is this is number 2. Yeah, and then I'll stop. Fluidity. Interpretation of the Quran are fluid. They are not fixed. They are not fixed because human world are changing. Yeah, we live in a changing world. The time of the Prophet Muhammad and his companion, it's different times in different places. But now we live in a more interconnected world where we learn and also teach other people, and we use different sources, and that's because of that our interpretation also are fluid. What it means is that we cannot say that different interpretation are always wrong or necessarily wrong. We have to use our humbleness. We have to use our intellectual humility. Yeah, we have to be tawaddu. When we receive different interpretations of certain verses that are controversial, for example. Of course, there are some clear messages from the Quran, that's for sure. Yeah, they are clear. This is clear, yes. But there are also different, like mutashabihat, yeah, muhkamat and mutashabihat. So the point I'm trying to make is that when we have and learn something from the internet, we have to be critical. But at the same time, we cannot say that they are different so that they are wrong. Different interpretations do not necessarily mean wrong interpretation. And that's why we have to use our humbleness. We have to use our ethical judgment. And because of that, you might say it's hybrid spirituality, right? But I think it's more about humbleness, humility. So this is what I can say from your very good question. I hope that we can engage more in the next time. Thank you so much for the question. Great question.
Thank you so much for very detailed answers. We have a 10-minute left. Maybe there is still two people want to asking to Dr. Azlina or Dr. Bhatti, please. Is there anyone to raising your hand? Okay, please, sirs. Please state your name, your affiliation, or your department, your student here. To Dr. Azlina or Dr. Bhatti, right?
Thank you. My name is Bidin from Magister Economic Syariah. A question to Madam Azlina. In your view, how can collaborative pathway support financial inclusion and afford human dignity? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Please, Associate Professor Dr. Azlina, can you answer the question now?
If I hear the question well, I think the question is about how is the collaborative pathways between zakat and corporate institutions can enhance the financial inclusion. If that's the question, then I think, as I have highlighted just now, zakat institutions, as we all know, plays a very important role in empowering the Asnaf people, those fakir and also miskin. So zakat institutions now cannot work in silo. That's what we can see, where zakat institutions, especially I'm sharing the experience of Malaysian zakat institutions. All zakat institutions in Malaysia are now not working in silo. They need to collaborate with other corporate institutions, be it the Islamic banks or other corporate institutions such as takaful institutions and etc. So the collaborative efforts between these zakat institutions in Malaysia with other corporate institutions can help to enhance financial inclusion by having the knowledge sharing and also the way of how the financial access can be granted to all these asnaf. So if you refer to the some of the dimensions of financial inclusions, including financial access to Islamic banks, financial access to micro takaful, so not only limited to banking system but also micro takaful. The previous examples of the projects being undertaken by Lembaga Zakat Negeri Kedah and also other corporate institutions has shown a tremendous effect on how the financial knowledge has been transferred to the Asnaf itself, and not only the Asnaf but also to the family members of the Asnaf. And at the same time, other projects can show the financial inclusion enhancement by ensuring that Asnafs, who we know that they are the underserved and unserved people in the country, to ensure that they have the at least to have the Islamic bank account for them to be included in the financial system. So those are among the examples which I think by having these collaborative pathways between the corporate institutions with zakat institutions, so these collaborative pathways will ensure the achievement and ensuring the objective of the financial inclusion of the country, to give better access of the banking facilities, to give better financial knowledge to the Asnaf and also poor communities will achieve, inshallah. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Associate Professor Dr. Azlina. So we have a one laugh. Okay, okay, please.
I'm Rahma from postgraduate student. Thank you, Professor. I want to ask to Prof. Ali and sorry, the last speaker. Name?
Dr. Bhatti.
Dr. Bhatti.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Professor. Earlier, you mentioned that many hoax and misinterpretation about the Quran are circulating in AI-generated content. And you explained that to avoid this mistake, we should combine digital tools with traditional methods, such as consulting qualified teacher and strengthening critical thinking skills. However, AI platforms are increasingly accessible to all age, including younger user or adult who may not have a strong analytical skill, and some AI generated answer can sound very convincing. How can we protect this group for misunderstanding Islamic teaching while still benefiting from AI as a learning tool? How we deal with this? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. This question directed to Dr. Bhatti, right? Okay, Dr. Bhatti, please ahead.
Yes, please. Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much for your very nice question. The question which I have understood, that is, I think about the how we can improve the communication skills, right, with the help of AI. Is this your question?
Should talk
Is
about
this your
AI
question?
and the impact to the Islamic teaching.
No. I just want to ask this question. That how her question is how we can improve our skills with the help of AI. Is it your question?
Okay, can you repeat your question, please? Maybe more, a little bit simple, right? Okay.
Okay.
Professor, since some AI generated answer can sound very convincing, how we can protect this group that maybe younger user or adult who may not have a strong analytical skill from misunderstanding Islamic teaching while still using AI?
Okay. Actually, with the help of AI, we can improve the learning of the students. There are some other apps because nowadays the students are going to use different gadgets. They are having smartphones, everything. So the time is that we have to get the edge of that, and we have to improve our students' communication skills and critical thinking skills with the help of AI because they are the beginners, and when AI can help them because the teacher is not all the time around them. So I think teachers should suggest some apps and some gadgets to the students, so from which they can get the help to improve these critical thinking skills and the communication skills with the help of AI. So AI is the best tool, and other Islamic I think apps has also very well, like I told you in my speech, that Tajweed they can learn with the help of these such apps, and they can also learn the translation of the Quranic, Holy Quran, with the help of this AI. So AI is best tool for them to get maximum benefits from that. I think you have got the answer of your question.
Okay, thank you. I hope that answer. Can you answer your question? Yeah, okay. So thank you so much, Professor. Now, apparently, we still have enormous questions, but a topic a little bit to be discussed, but we have a very limited time, so we need to end our discussion today. And I would like to say a big thank you to our speakers for their detailed answers and valuable insight. I also want to warmly thank to all participants for joining us and actively engaged today. Thank you so much. I hope everyone have again a new perspective about interdisciplinary research as Taji did. We truly appreciate your participation. We will now take a short break and reconvene for keynote session 2 at maybe 10:30. We look forward to welcoming you again for the next session, please. And thank you, everyone. A very, very good day for all of you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Please give applause.
Thank you very much.